Somewhere in your kitchen, a faucet delivers clean, safe, government-tested water for less than a penny a gallon. Down the street, a single bottle of imported water costs more per ounce than the gasoline in your car. Both of them are water. Only one of them convinced the entire world it was worth paying thousands of times more for. This is the story of how that happened, and it starts with a French nobleman who got thirsty on a walk. In 1789, the Marquis de Lesseps was strolling through the town of Evian-les-Bains on the shore of Lake Geneva when he stopped to drink from a local spring. He liked the taste. He also happened to have kidney problems, and shortly after, he claimed the water had improved them. Doctors picked up the story. Aristocrats started visiting the spring specifically to drink from it. By 1826, someone had turned that reputation into an actual bottling business. For over a century, that was Evian, a regional French mineral water with a nice origin story, nothing close to global luxury yet. Then, in the late 1970s, it crossed the Atlantic and landed in exactly the right rooms, the restaurants and dinner parties of Hollywood. American celebrities started ordering it by name, and once that happened, the water itself almost stopped mattering. What mattered was that ordering Evian in front of other people said something about you. Today in China, Evian sells for up to 40 times what it costs in its own home country in France. The same water, the same bottle, 40 times the price. Because the story attached to it has more value than the product inside it. Evian proved that a beverage could become a status symbol. The next major bottled water brand took that idea and pushed it somewhere much stranger. In 1996, a Canadian businessman named David Gilmour started bottling water from an artesian aquifer on the Fijian island of Viti Levu. He built the company, headquartered it in Los Angeles, and gave it one of the most aggressive marketing pitches in the industry's history. Water so untouched, so remote, so far from civilization, that its entire identity was built on the idea that no human interference had ever come near it. In 2006, that marketing turned into a real fight. Fiji Water ran a full-page ad that read, "The label says Fiji because it's not bottled in Cleveland." It was a direct shot at Cleveland's decades-old reputation for bad tap water. Cleveland's water officials weren't amused. They sent both waters to a lab. The results came back, and they were not what Fiji Water wanted. Fiji Water tested positive for arsenic, 6.31 micrograms per litre. Cleveland's tap water had none detected at all. The company that built its entire brand on being purer than everyone else had just been caught, publicly and independently, being less pure than the city it mocked. Fiji Water called it a joke that got out of hand, but the lesson underneath it was real. In the bottled water industry, the story sold far harder than the actual water ever needed to. No brand learned that lesson more painfully than Perrier. Perrier had been a small regional French company until 1946, when a stockbroker named Gustave Levin bought it. Levin built Perrier into something bigger than water. He built it into an identity. By the 1980s in America, holding a green glass bottle of Perrier at a dinner party wasn't about hydration. Industry analysts at the time described it plainly. Perrier had become a badge. It told the room you were sophisticated, plugged in, exactly the kind of person other people wanted to be seen next to. Between 1976 and 1979 alone, American sales exploded from 3 million bottles a year to 200 million. Then, in February 1990, A lab in North Carolina was using Perrier as a neutral testing control for an unrelated chemical experiment. Instead, they found something that shouldn't have been there at all: benzene, a known carcinogen, dissolved in the water itself. Perrier's own explanation was almost more damaging than the contamination. A filter that was supposed to be replaced every 6 weeks had been left in place for months. The company that had spent decades selling the idea of untouched, naturally sparkling French purity had, in reality, been running a maintenance schedule that failed. Perrier recalled 160 million bottles from 120 countries. Within a year, its share of the American imported water market had collapsed from nearly 45% down to just under 21%. The brand never fully recovered the ground it lost that year. 3 different companies, 3 different countries, 3 completely different products, if you actually measured what was inside the bottle. But all 3 were selling the exact same thing: a feeling, purity, status, the idea that you, personally, deserved something better than what came out of your own tap for free. Today, the global bottled water industry is worth more than $200 billion a year, and it's still growing. The actual water inside almost never justifies the price on the label. What justifies it is the story wrapped around the bottle: a French spring from 1789, an island 1,800 miles from the nearest continent, a green glass bottle that once made you look like you belonged in the room. Water is one of the only things on earth that falls from the sky for free. The most valuable thing these companies ever built wasn't a better product. It was a better story about the same thing everyone already had.